Hao, ladies and gentlemen from China, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen from India. Welcome to B2B webinar on India-China Pharmaceutical Cooperation and Regulatory Developments, organized by Pharmaceutical and China Chamber of Commerce for Import and Export of Medicine Health Products. Today, we are joined by 120 Indian companies from India and 40 companies from China side. With this short note, may I invite Mr. Ravi Uday Bhaskar, Director General Pharmaceutical, to kindly give his welcome. Sir, over to you.
供应代表，大家好，欢迎参加今天的印度线上医药合作与监管政策发展研讨会。今天参会的印度企业达100多家，中方的参会企业达10多家。接下来欢迎印度药品出口促进委员会主席Ravi Uday Bhaskar 先生做欢迎词。
Please go ahead.
我也连摄像头了，我自己能看到这个。
Good afternoon to my friends from China and good morning to Indian friends. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this India-China Pharmaceutical Cooperation and Regulatory Developments B2B webinar.
下午好，中国的朋友们，早上好，印度的朋友们，先生们、女士们，很高兴在此欢迎大家参加本次线上研讨会。
అదే presentation ఎందుకు వేస్తున్నారు ఇప్పుడు? I would like to welcome the Mr. Jayant. Mr. Jayant, presentation is at the latter stage. Secretary of the Party Committee, Vice President, CCC MHPIE, Mrs. Geo Shadon, Subsecretary of FDF, Director, CCC MHPIE, Mr. Damong Young, Mr. Orlando Wong, Lead Commercial, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Mr. Murali Krishna, Director, the Pharmaceuticals Export Promotion Council of India. I'm very much happy to connect again with CCC MHPIE. I'll cut short my welcome address as I need to give a presentation on policy update on pharmaceutical industry and progress all in India also. So at the outset, I would like to recollect the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Pharmaceuticals Export Promotion Council of India and CCC MHPIE on 20th August 2018 with an objective to have a bilateral cooperation between Indian pharmaceutical industry and Chinese pharmaceutical industry.
我衷心的欢迎中国医药保健品进出口商会孟东平主席以及副主席以及医药保健品商会制剂分会秘书长郭晓丹女士，普洛医药股份总监呆猛杨先生，以及印度医药出口促进委员会总监Murali Krishna先生。我很高兴做这次欢迎词，但是我后边要做一个关于印度医药政策及其发展状况的报告，所以我会将本次演讲词做的比较简短。另外我借此机会回忆过去几年印度中印医药行业所进行的 商业活动，有2次活动，分别是在2018年和2020年，其中有印度使馆还有领事馆的参与，以及印度医药出口促进委员会的参与，我们这些合作活动取得了很好的成果。谢谢。
The conference was well attended by the Indian companies as well as the Chinese industry as well as the importers, and it was a very cordial meetings. And we also visited the Fosun and we interacted with different agencies. And I still recollect it always fresh in my mind that the kind of a aura we have created between these two organizations. Immediately after signing an MOU, we established Pharmaceutical as well as CCCM HPIE established help desk to facilitate the member companies of both the organizations to connect each other and to work for the betterment of both the countries' pharma industry.
这次在双方的互动活动之后，双方经过双方的互动活动，这极大的刷新了我对双方之间相互互动合作的一个印象。在与医保商会代表两国商业部门签署了谅解备忘录之后，中国医保进出口商会立即设置了帮助平台，帮助两国企业在进行行业对接方面做出了很大的成绩。Thank you.
On 21st June 2019, again, both the organizations, Pharmaxil and CCCM HPIE, facilitated the interaction with the industry and between CDSCO and NMPA. And it was very useful, and the NMPA has given the inputs and how the registration can be done, and they should keep Indian companies to have an awareness on how the NMPA functions, as well as CDSCO also enlightened the members who attended from Chinese side. And it was also attended by the representatives from the Minister of Health, Government of India, and Minister of Commerce, Government of India, and also from Ministry of Health from the Chinese side also.
我的记忆重回2018，其中中国医药行业以及医保商会的相关领导，对于我们在印度药品在中国药品评估中心以及国家药品监督管理局的产品注册和审批过程中给予了很大的帮助，使得印度企业在注册的过程中，得到了很多的协助，同时我也感谢双方商会的会员企业以及双方政府层面的一些领导对中印双方医药行业的发展以及我们过去举行的一系列活动中做出的努力。
You're aware of that India imports substantial quantities of intermediates, KSMs, APIs from China, and we're also exporting reasonable quantity of pharma products to China. China is our 10th largest exporting destination, and particularly in the area of fermentation technology. During our initial discussions also, we invited the Chinese companies to invest and work closely with the Indian pharmaceutical companies in developing the fermentation technology, where they are the leaders of the world. And with this, I once again welcome all the delegates and Meng Dong Ping for reconnecting again with Pharmaxil, and I think in the coming few hours, the business meetings are going to reopen the discussions and collaborate and work for the betterment of the industries of both India and China. Thank you.
众所周知，印度在活性药物成分方面以及医疗产品方面有着巨大的优势。中国是印度的第10大药品出口目的国。在我们以前的讨论活动中，我们邀请了来自印方和中方的企业进行了互动，鼓励他们在药品研发技术方面进行合作。借此，我再一次欢迎中印的企业代表，欢迎医保商会孟会长。我相信在接下来的几个小时，我们将会收获颇丰，重启我们的对话时刻。谢谢。
Yeah, I'm on. Thank you, Mr. Uday Bhaskar, for your welcome address. I now invite Ms. Mengdong Ping, Secretary of the Party Committee and Vice President, CCNPHA, to kindly give her opening address. And over to you. Thank you.
谢谢 Ravi 主席的欢迎词。接下来有请中国医保健出口商会孟东平副会长做开幕词。
尊敬的Ravi Udava Bhaskar 会长，老朋友了，好久不见了，希望你们一切都好。中印两国的医药企业的代表，大家下午好，也应该说是 Good morning for Indian friends。
Dear Director General Ravi Udaya Bhaskar, my old friend, long time no see, and delegates from China and India pharmaceutical industry. Good afternoon, everyone, and to my friends in India, I should say good morning.
特别高兴受我们Pharmaceutical Bhaskar 会长的邀请，一起来共同举办中英医药产业的机会与法规进展的研讨会，一起交流法规的信息，探讨中印在未来的产业合作的机会。
First of all, I'm very glad to be invited by Director General Ravi Udaya Bhaskar with the India Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council. After 2 years, we once again hold a seminar on China-India pharmaceutical cooperation and the regulatory development to exchange information, explore the cooperation opportunities in the pharmaceutical field between India and China.
去年新冠肺炎疫情爆发以后，我们都经历了疫情的巨大的影响。在那个非常艰难的时期，中印两国的产业界朋友们曾经相互帮扶，留下了很多感人的回忆。我们中印两国作为世界最大的制药国，我们共同努力，为了确保全球的产业链供应链的稳定、安全和可及性，做出了巨大的努力和贡献，也为我们双边医药健康产业的进一步深化和交流合作提供了更多的动力和支撑。
Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic last year, we have been went through the severe effects of the pandemic. That was a very tough time. India and China helped each other and have left many impressive memories. As the two big pharmaceutical powers, we have worked together to make sure the world pharmaceutical industry's industry line supply to keep their stability and made a great contribution to the drug affordability. And we have injected impetus to the health development of pharmaceutical industry of India and China. As of now, the pandemic situation at the two countries have been basically controlled and gradually realized the economic recovery and the stability, the normal operation of society.
但是从全球范围来看，目前的疫情呢还在蔓延，对世界经济造成了严重的冲击，也在相当程度上面影响了原有的正常贸易的轨迹。但是我们也注意到，因为疫情激发了全球范围内对于医疗健康产品的巨大的关注和市场需求，所以在这个特殊的时期，我们双方坐下来共同来探讨下一步经济的可持续和健康发展问题是非常及时的，也是非常必要的。
But seeing from the worldwide, the pandemic situation still expanding, which have made severe impact on the world economy, and to some degree greatly affected the original normal trade track. However, we have noticed that the pandemic has also sparked the need for pharmaceutical products worldwide. At this critical period, it's very necessary for our two sides to sit together to discuss the economic sustainability issues and which is very necessary for the current period.
中印两国呢都是世界上最大的制药大国。中印两国的医药产业，我们有相似之处，但也有各具优势，又有一定的互补性。这是我们双边产业合作和发展的最基本的元素。双方互相是对方的重要的贸易合作伙伴。如果能够充分发挥我们各自的优势，进一步加强合作，我相信我们携手同行，一定能够为惠及两国和全球的民众。
India and China are both pharmaceutical powers, and we share a lot of common in the pharmaceutical industry. And at the same time, we have our respective advantages, and so we enjoy the complementarity to some degree, which laid a solid foundation for the trade and cooperation in pharmaceutical sector. The mutually independence of pharmaceutical trade and cooperation of the two countries can, if this complementarity can be give full potential, our cooperation can be further strengthened. This will greatly improve the strength of India and China in pharmaceutical industry, and hence benefits the people from both countries and worldwide.
我们很高兴地看到这几年中印两国的医药合作越来越深入，体现在多个方面。一个是贸易规模不断的扩大，去年我们双边的贸易额已经达到了84亿美元，增长7.6%，这个在疫情期间是非常来之不易的。按照这个趋势看，我们今年的双边的医药贸易的几乎能突破100亿美元。这将达到一个新的里程和高度。
In recent years, the pharmaceutical cooperation between China and India has continued to deepen in many aspects. First, the scale of trade continues to expand. In 2020, the bilateral pharmaceutical trade volume was $8.4 billion, a year-on-year increase of 7.6%. From January to November this year, the trade volume reached $9.5 billion, a year-on-year increase of 25%. This is very good considering the epidemic situation. In line with this trend, the bilateral pharmaceutical trade volume can extend $10 billion this year, reaching a new milestone.
另外，双方合作的领域也在不断的延伸扩展。目前，中国是印度最大的原料药、关键期药和中间体的进口。印度原料药进口的70%左右，而中国从印度方面进口的原料药也在不断的趋势。
Second, the areas of cooperation has been expanding. As of now, China is the largest importer of India's API drugs, the key starting material, and also for the intermediates, which accounts for 70% of India's drug exports. The imports of China from India for APIs has been increased year on year.
这几年呢，中国从印度进口的药品也在不断的增长，增幅都在20%以上。 特别是西成药，这2年的增幅是比较快的。我们注意到越来越多的印度药品开始进入中国市场，而且通过在政府的集中招标采购当中中标。比如说2019年和2021年，印度的 Dr. Reddy 的奥氮平片和包括我们太阳药业Sun Pharma 的比卡鲁胺片，在中国国内市场的销售业绩都是非常不错的。
In recent years, China has been importing more and more drugs from India, featuring a growth rate above 20%, especially the import of Western medicine, which is featuring the fastest growth in recent 2 years. We have noticed that more and more Indian pharmaceutical products has entered into the Chinese market, and when the bidding during the China government's centralized procurement. For instance, in 2019 and 2021, respectively, the Olazapi tablets from Dr. Reddy and the Betalutamida tablets from Sun Pharma has won the tender, and both of their products have acquired a very sales volume in Chinese market.
在国际市场也越来越受欢迎，整个不断的提高。我们注意到，印度有越来越多的企业开始寻求加大和中国这些领域企业的技术和研发的合作，特别是自疫情爆发以后，我们印度的很多朋友和企业从中国进口了大量的物资。
In addition,
医疗
with
产品。
In addition, with accelerated development of domestic innovative drugs and the acceleration of the development of medical device industry, India has also increased its technical and research and development cooperation with Chinese innovative drug enterprises. At the same time, we have noticed that since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, our Indian friends and Indian enterprises also have purchased a large number of epidemic prevention materials and medical devices from China.
讲完了吗？
Yes.
这里边有些问题。这个中印医药贸易合作不断的扩展，主要是基于双方在医药产业具有很强的互补性，特别是表现在中国在基础化工、大宗原料药和创新药领域呢，一直有这个比较深厚的优势，而印度方面呢，在特色原料药和仿制药的领域有比较强的优势。两国的医药产业之所以携手共行，而且双方的往来非常密切，相互依存，正是在这种相互依赖、相互补益过程中，不断的发展成长了起来。而且现在双方合作的领域也越来越宽，已经从原来传统的原料药、仿制药，包括医药中间体，像西药制剂、生物医药、植物提取物、医疗器械领域等发展，几乎覆盖了整个医药的全产业链。
The continuous expansion of China-India pharmaceutical trade and cooperation also benefits from the strong complementarity of the pharmaceutical industry of both sides. China has advantages in the field of physical chemicals, bulk APIs, and innovative drugs, while India has advantages in the field of characteristic APIs and generic drugs. It is in this interdependence and mutual benefit that the pharmaceutical industries of the two countries continue to develop and grow. The cooperation scopes has been expanded more, and more, or gradually ranging from the chemical APIs in intermediates to Western formulations, biomedicals, herbal extracts, medical devices, which almost cover the whole pharmaceutical industry chain. Thanks.
现在我们双方合作的手段也逐渐从原来单纯的进出口贸易，延伸到了新药的研发、仿制药的开发、产品的引进，包括技术转移、生产外包、投资并购和商务代理多种方式。比如说，近年来有不少中国的企业与印度企业共同设立了合资企业，来联合研发新的产品，或者是将印度成熟的产品引入中国市场，甚至双方努力开拓全球市场。也有不少中国企业获得了印度企业的产品的商业化的授权，这都是双方合作的一种模式。
Third, there are more ways of cooperation. The means of cooperation have extended from the traditional simple import and export trade to new drug research and development, generic drug development, product introduction, technology transfer, production outsourcing, investment, merger and acquisition, business agency, and so on. For example, in recent years, many Chinese enterprises have established joint ventures with Indian enterprises to jointly develop or introduce mature Indian products into the Chinese market. Some Chinese enterprises have also obtained the commercialization authorization of Indian enterprises products. Thanks.
我所在的中国医药产品进出口商会是中国国内
联系的跟那个印度医药什么协会
国际合作的
线上
商会。
会议。
As the only chamber of commerce in China that focuses on international exchanges and cooperation in the medical and health industry, China Chamber of Commerce for import and export of medicines and health products, which I work for, attaches great importance to the cooperation between India and China in the field of pharmaceuticals.
正如刚才巴斯卡会长所回忆到的，我们通过这些年的双方的密切的合作，已经建立了深厚的友谊，关系也是非常顺畅的。记得2018年，我陪原商务部部长中山，访问印度，从那时起，我们通过两国部长形成的共识和精神，建立了中印产业的正式的合作机制，受中国国家商务部的委托。现在我们中国医保商会是中印双边医药经贸合作、医疗卫生产业的牵头单位，而且我们签署了谅解备忘录。在这个机制下，我们这些年开展了丰富多彩的活动，信息的交流也是非常顺畅的。
As recorded by Director General Ravi Udaya Bhaskar, India and China have held various activities during the past 2 years. In 2018, our chamber and Pharmaceutical signed a memorandum on economic and trade cooperation in the pharmaceutical industry on behalf of the ministries of commerce of our two countries. I also accompanying the former Commerce Minister of China visited India in 2018. Over the years, we have actively promoted and coordinated industrial exchanges, interaction, and economic and trade cooperation between the two countries. Maintained close contacts with relevant government departments. We have received full support from the national ministries, and our cooperation has been very frequent and close, and enjoyed a very smooth cooperative relationship.
是的，这些年我们商会一直保持着和印度商工部、印度驻华使馆和包括我们印度Pharmaceutical 的这种对话联系，而且通过这个合作的机制来协调解决两国产业界的共同的关注，特别是帮助不少印度的企业的产品进入中国市场。
Yes, our chamber has been worked with different industry sites to facilitate in the India-China pharmaceutical exchanges. Our chamber has made a great effort in helping the India pharmaceutical products enter into the Chinese market.
就是我们一直在保持着和印度商工部、驻华使馆、印度药品出口委员会的密切的对话联系，而且在这个机制下面一直在持续性的开展工作。
We have maintained a close contact with the Ministry of Industry and Commerce of India, and the relevant sites in India side. Under this mechanism of dialogue, we have been actively doing our work for the exchanges of both sides.
其中最可圈可点的就是刚才巴斯卡会长提到了，2018年和2019年，我们分别组织承办了由两国药监局长亲自率队来主办的中印两国的医药产品的政策交流和产业对话活动，活动是非常成功的，也吸引了双方的企业好几百人，大家也给予了积极的评价。
The most remarkable event, just like being mentioned by Director General Ravi, the ministers from our medical products administration department started the working cooperation mechanism, which have achieved a very good result.
另外，我们医保商会呢承担了中国国际进口博览会的医药保健展馆的主管和合作协助工作。我们组织的中国医药健康产业、药品、医疗器械、化妆品的产业政策交流大会，也特别邀请印度的企业来参加会议活动。而且今年的5月和就在前不久，我们又还在线上举办了2场中印的原料药的合作研讨会，都吸引了不少中印双方的产业界的代表来参与。
Our chamber is responsible for the pharmaceutical part of the CIIE, that is China International Import Expo. And we also had the event under the satellites of CIIE regarding pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and cosmetics regarding their regulatory policies in China. In this year, in the first half of this year, we have also had 2 events regarding the API products, which both attracted the participation from India industry delegates and the representatives from companies of both sides.
另外呢，这几年呢也有不少印度的企业，比如说 Lupin、Cipla， 然后 Heathrow 等等企业，也有很大的这种关注和兴趣，希望进入中国市场。我们就利用商会的平台和资源优势，帮助解决这些有强烈意愿的印度企业来在 解决中国市场准入和包括市场营销等方面的一些问题和诉求，应该说取得了积极的成效。
We have noticed that in recent years, many Indian pharmaceutical companies like Lupin Simpro have displayed strong interest in entering the Chinese market. Our chamber, relying on the resource advantages of ourselves, extended a lot of help in helping these companies to enter in the Chinese market. We can say our efforts have achieved fruitful results.
正是在多年的相互协作和共同发展的过程中，中印两国的产业界建立了深厚的友谊和合作的基础。今年4月份，印度的疫情爆发严重，还是形势比较严重的。我们商会主动的发出倡议，号召中国所有的医药企业站起来，携手中国的印度企业，共同抗击疫情，为大家不仅提供医疗防疫物资，而且尽我们所有的能力为大家去提供帮助。可以说，让很多的中外的企业都非常受感动。
It is through these years of bilateral cooperation, India and China has established a deep relationship in the pharmaceutical sector. Since the epidemic outbreak again in April this year, our chamber made a public voice and called on Chinese pharmaceutical companies to take action and do their best to provide support and help for the India epidemic prevention work. And we also extended a lot of help to other foreign companies. We can say this kind of help really helped the epidemic prevention work in India and worldwide.
虽然这2年，我们遗憾地看到双边的政治关系起伏不定，出现了一些不和谐的因素，但是在中印医药产业层面的合作交流是非常密切的，大家是相互信任的。比如，我们根据印方的需求，今年4月份，我们积极引导中国的企业通过我们的民间渠道来支持印度抗疫。针对印度驻华使馆和印方相关机构提出的一些具体的要求，我们为印方组织协调，提供制氧机、液态氧，包括脉搏的血氧仪、瑞德西韦的原料药和包括两性霉素 B、法匹拉韦和地塞米松等等跟防疫抗疫相关的产品，而且为我们印方及时提供相关的市场和供给情况。尽我们所能表达我们对印方的关注和关心。
Although there are some twists and turns in our bilateral political relationships, but the cooperation in the pharmaceutical sector between India and China has kept smooth development. We have been keeping very close contact in the pharmaceutical industry. For instance, in April this year, upon the request from Embassy of India, China, and enterprises of Indian companies, our chamber have extended help for the epidemic prevention in India's side. For the epidemic prevention material, the drugs proposed by the Indian Embassy in China and relevant Indian institutions, such as oxygen generator, liquid oxygen, pulse oximeter, Remdesivir raw and auxiliary materials, amphotericin B, Favipiravir, and dexamethasone. We timely studied and investigated the market situation, provided the supplier contact details to the Indian Embassy in China, and actively coordinated the Chinese enterprises to give priority to help India to fight the pandemic.
我特别想提到的是，疫情爆发以后，不仅对全球的经济造成严重的冲击，改变了我们原有的生活方式和运行的轨迹，也让很多国家增加了一些消极的因素。但是我想说，中印两国产业能够发展到今天，取得今天的成果，来之不易，是双方产业可以说付出了巨大的努力和心血才形成的成果。我们需要珍惜这来之不易的成果。
I especially want to mention the pandemic really changed the normal life circle, life track of our people's life, and the cooperation momentum between India and China in the pharmaceutical sector has been has it's a hard-won fruit. So we really needed to cherish this result and keep keep our continuous effort in promote this status quo.
记得去年疫情在中国爆发以后，中国的防疫物资严重匮乏，印度方面很多的朋友尽自己的所能来支援中国的抗疫，我们至今都难以忘记。而当印度方面疫情形势严峻的时候，中国很多的企业和民众义无反顾地站起来，用自己最大的力量来表达自己的关爱，更是一种相互的一种情怀。我想说，医疗防疫物资关乎到生命健康，所以无论是对中国还是印度的企业界，我相信我们所有生产药品和医疗器械和医疗健康产品的企业，我们不仅仅是一家企业，我们更是一个传递爱心、表达情怀、守护生命健康的责任体。我相信每个人内心都存在一种梦想，希望用我们的努力，用我们的心意和用我们的智慧来创造出最好的产品，惠及民众的健康。这应该是我们双方共同的使命，也是我们共同的梦想。
Since the pandemic outbreak lasted in China, many sites in India extended their help to China. Accordingly, while the pandemic outbreak in India last year, entities from China society also extended help to India side in various way and channels. The medical products is about the life of people. The companies from India and China should not only consider themselves as just only companies. We are just like the lifeguard of our people, and everyone from both sides should do our best to safeguard the life of our people, and all the enterprises should work hard to develop the best medical products to protect the life of our people.
我知道很多印度的企业非常关注自己的产品，希望进入中国市场。我们也愿意在中印双边合作机制下为印度企业提供所有的帮助。但是，我也建议我们印度企业来更多的关注中国的医药卫生相关的政策，来重视对中国市场的开拓和这种运行的跟踪，来通过寻求本地比较合适的生意伙伴来共同开拓市场。我想从政策层面加大理解和认识，和加强本地合作伙伴的这种沟通和联系， 是帮助印度更多的产品进入中国市场，并在中国市场立足的最佳的有效的途径。
Many Indian companies have attached attention to the market access of their products into the Chinese market. We hope under the bilateral cooperation mechanism, the Indian company should pay attention to the regulatory update about regarding pharmaceutical sector in China and follow up closely on their change. They should increase their understanding in policy, regulations, and rules, which, as I say, is the best way and the efficient way to enter the Chinese market.
这几年中国的医药健康监管的政策改革是大刀阔斧的，也是全方位的。中国政府提出了构建全生命周期的科学的监管体系，而且提出要以临床价值为导向。所以这些年出台了一系列的积极政策，都是开放的、包容的，寻求国际合作的。我们鼓励创新的，而且是临床急需的先进的医疗产品进入中国市场。事实上，我们注意到越来越多国际上先进的医疗产品正在大幅度的进入中国市场。可以说，中国市场所提供的机遇是前所未有的，对印度企业也是一样的。所以，欢迎您一起参与到中国市场的改革开放和市场开发当中来。
In recent years, China has conducted comprehensive overall reform in the drug regulatory system. It proposed to adopt the full life cycle supervision mechanism for drug regulation, attach high importance to the drugs with high clinical values. These policies are open, inclusive, and so we especially welcome pharmaceutical companies which have state-of-art technology to enter the Chinese company and to embark on the opening journey of China's pharmaceutical industry opening up.
最后，我想说，疫情虽然阻隔不能我们面对面的交流，但是我们通过线上的交流，也是我们非常重要的一个方式。我们的合作一直没有停顿，我们希望能够珍惜多年来形成的深厚的合作基础和相互信赖的这种关系，能够作为全球医药制造大国来共同携起手来，为全球的民众和生命健康保驾护航。
At last, I want to say, although this event is held online in online mode, but this is also it is also very important for information exchange. Our cooperation has been non-stop. We wish both sides cherish the trust relationship we have nurtured in the past years. We encourage, as two pharmaceutical powers, we encourage both sides to work together to contribute to the life safeguarding cause of whole mankind and our people.
是的，我们是命运共同体，我们更是健康命运共同体。所以再次感谢印度驻华使馆为组织本次活动所提供的帮助，感谢印度的 Pharmaceutical 巴斯卡会长和我的各位同事们，感谢你们的辛勤工作，也感谢我们中印两国的企业代表，我们医保商会的平台和窗户一直向您打开着，我们愿意通过我们的努力一起携手同行。最后感谢翻译，感谢你的辛勤工作。
Yes, we are a community with shared future, and we are a community with shared future in for the mankind health. I would like to thank the Embassy of India in China, the Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council of India, the delegates are my colleagues, the delegates from the pharmaceutical sector of both sides. Thank you for your hard work, and our chamber will always be open, and our platform will always be open to help grow your business. And the last, thank you the interpretation. Thanks.
Thank you, Indian Embassy in China, and Mr. Bhaskar, President Bhaskar, and all the representatives from China Indian industrial side. And thank you, interpreter. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Director General Ravi Udva Bhaskar. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
谢谢 Ms. Mengdang Ping for your opening address. Moving forward, we have Ms. Guyo Xiaodian, Subsecretary of FDF and Director CCMPH, to give a presentation on policy update on drug registration and procurement in China. Ma'am, over to you.
谢谢孟会长的开幕词，接下来有请中国医保商会制剂分会会长以及医保商会处长孟小丹女士做有关于中国药品注册和采购政策方面的PPT 展示。
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you,
we
madam.
can hear you and we can see your slide as well.
首先呢，非常感谢我们印度药品出口促进会的邀请，我们共同来举办今天的活动。那么根据我们印度方面的关注呢，今天我主要对中国的药品监管和招标制度的一个更新的一个情况做一个分享。
First of all, we would like to thank the invitation from the Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council of India to address their concern. Today, I would like to make the presentation of the policy update on Chinese drug regulatory and procurement policies.
今天我要分享的内容主要分为3个部分。第一部分就是中国的药品审批制度改革进展。第二部分呢是我们的药品集中招标采购制度和国家医保目录。第3个部分呢就是谈一下对中印药品合作的一些机会的一些看法。
Today, my presentation will consist of 3 parts. The first is about the reform progress of drug evaluation and approval system in China. The second part is about the introduction of centralized drug procurement system and also the national reimbursement drug list. The third part will be the opportunities for India and China cooperation in the pharmaceutical sector.
谈到中国的药品审批制度改革，我们就不得不提的是2015年和2017年中国发布的2个重要的文件，42号文和44号文，开启了中国药品监管改革的大幕。
To discuss about China's drug administration reform, we have to mention 2 important documents which was respectively released in 2015 and 2017, which indicates the beginning of reform on drug regulations.
通过3年的改革试点，2019年，中国全国人大通过了药品管理法和疫苗管理法，把改革经验法治化，为中国药品改革的落实成果和进一步深化改革提供了法治保障。
Through 3 years pilot reform, the experience of reform has been enacted into 2 laws. The first one is the Drug Administration Law of People's Republic of China and the Vaccination Administration Law of the People's Republic of China, which turn the reform fruits into legal documents.
那么今年呢，我们又发布了关于全面加强药品监管能力建设的实施意见，进一步对中国药品监管能力建设提出了一些新的要求。
In this year, China has reviewed and approved the implementation ideas on strengthen the building of drug regulatory capacity, which have raised up opinions how to enhance the drug regulatory capacity.
那么我下面介绍一下中国的药品注册的监管的法律法规体系。中国的药品监管的法律法规体系主要分为4个层级。刚才我们提到了最高的就是我们的药品管理法、疫苗管理法和中医药法。
Next, I would like to discuss on the laws and the regulation systems for drug registration in China. They can be divided into 4 levels. The first is the Drug Administration Law of the People's Republic of China and also the Vaccination Administration Law.
第2个就是我们的中国药品法的实施条例，主要是为了对药品管理法的一些规定进行实施和细化，计划于明年开展修订。
The second is about the regulations for the implementation of Drug Administration Law of the People's Republic of China. This is now currently under revision, and these regulations details the rules under the Drug Administration Law and about their implementing minutes.
第3个层次是我们的部门规章。我们在去年的时候，中国已经开始实施了新的药品注册管理办法和药品生产监督管理办法。
The third is about the departmental rules. Last year, China has implemented new provisions for drug regulation and also the new provisions for drug manufacturing administration.
今年呢，中国国家药监局又修订和上市了药物警戒质量管理办法，同时呢，药品的经营管理办法也在征求意见当中。
This year, the National Medical Products Administration has approved the medical operation management and the regulations for GSM is under drafting.
另外呢，需要一个提到的就是跟我们的进口有关的、非常关注的药品进口管理办法，这个呢是计划于明年修订。现在中国国家药监局已经启动了关于药品进口管理办法修订的课题研究，我们商会也参与了这项研究。
In addition to specially mention to specially mention one regulations, that is the prevalence for the import of drugs, that is the prevalence for the import of drugs, which is to be revised. Currently, the National Medical Products Administration has started the revision of product of this provisions, and our chamber has also participated in this revision work.
另外呢，配合我们的药品注册管理办法和我们的药品的生产监督管理规定呢，中国国家药监局呢还启动了很多的一个规范性文件和技术指南。
In addition, in line with the provisions for the supervision and administration of drug production and the provisions for the supervision and administration of drug operation, the National Medical Products Administration has also started many normative documents formulation work.
包括药品的分类改革，包括临床实验以及检查和验证，还有一些特殊的审批程序等等。
This work include drug classification, clinical trials, inspection and verification, special review and approve, operation procedure, etc.
包括就在本周周一刚刚发布的药品的注册的实施程序等系列文件。
Including the drug registration serial document, which just been released this Monday.
为了帮助业界更好地开展研发和指导工作，以及从事注册的一些程序，中国国家药监局呢已经参照 ICH 和 WHO 的一些经验，发布了342个药品研发技术指南。
To help the research and development work of the industry and help the registration work of the pharmaceutical entities, the National Medical Products Administration has worked with the International Council for the Harmonized ICH organization and released 342 technical guidelines.
经过这几年的改革呢，基本上涵盖中国药品全生命周期管理的中国的药品监管体系的四梁八柱已经基本的确立。
Through years of reform, the legal and regulatory system for full-life drug cycle management has been basically established, which consists of four and eight pillars.
首先是我们中国呢建立了药品全生命周期管理的这个理念，涵盖了药品的研制，以及药品的成长期、成熟期以及后退，包括从测试整个的一个药品全生命周期的管理。
First, China has formulated the notion of drug full life cycle management, which covers the procedure of research and development, growth period, maturity, and recession.
我们知道，药品的监管和药品的产业的发展相辅相成。随着中国药品国际化进程的推进呢，对中国药品国际化的监管也提出了很高的要求。中国药品的监管也越来越国际化、科学化。
Right now, the drug regulation and the drug development are interdependent. With this effort, China's drug regulation has been more internationalized.
我们知道，从监管的角度来讲，2017年中国加入了 ICH，2018年中国 NMPA 成为了 ICH 的管理委员会成员之一。那么今年的6月，我们又再次当选为 ICH 的管理成员国。
In 2017, China has joined the International Council for Harmonized of Technical Requirements for Pharmaceutical for Human Use. In 2018, IMPA has become a member of the SH Management Committee. In this year, IMPA has elected as the member of the SH Management Committee.
在 ICH 的63个指导原则中，中国现在已经正式发布和实施了46个 ICH 的指南，而且中国已经派出了大量的专家团队参与到 ICH 的协调中，为中国药品的研发的国际化和注册的国际化提供技术保障。
Among the 63 ICH guidelines, China has implemented the 46 ICH guidelines and also dispatched a large number of experts of the industry to help China's drug regulation in participating in the international management.
而在研发和研制过程临床阶段，中国开始接受境外的临床实验数据，同时允许临床实验的全球同步开发。
For the clinical trial period, China has started accepting overseas research data and allows simultaneous clinical trials.
而在注册阶段，基本实施了与国际接轨的注册路径，同时基于风险开展药品的审评、验证和检查。
For the drug registration, China has basically achieved the registration path convergence with international sites, international standards, and conducted review, verification, inspection on the basis of risk.
同时呢，对药品的审评审批的总时限可以预期。同时呢，对中国还实施了4种加速审批的路径，基本上与国际接轨。
China has also set a time limit for review of approval of drugs. We have implemented 4 methods for acceleration of drug review and approval.
而在监管层面，自2016年中国开始实行 IMH 试点以来，已经全面开展了 IMH 制度的一个建设。同时呢，所有的监管信息的透明化，在网站可公布、可查询。对于上市后的药品监管，也提出了新的要求。而为了加强药品的监管，现在对违反药品相关法律法规的行为实施处罚到人。
For the supervision, China has implemented the marketing authorization system. The supervision has become very transparent. The information can all be checked online. China has also raised stricter requirements for the post-approval supervision.
那么，在药品的研发和生产过程中，整个的生命周期管理中，我们基本上中国开始加快这个药品的审评进程，同时提到药品审评审批的实现总预期，可以看到，中国现在对于临床实验申请实施了60天的末世许可制，对于上市许可申请，基本上要200天之内来完成审评。
China has speed up the drug review and approval procedures. As you can see from the PPT, the application for IND is about 60 days, and the procedure for marketing review and approval is going to take around 200 days.
而对于纳入优先审评的一些产品，然后上市许可申请，然后就是缩短到130天。
For some products that is suitable for priority review and approval, the marketing application time can be reduced to 130 days.
而特殊药品审评程序的建立，则为疫情相关药品和疫苗的开发提供了路径。在疫情期间，已经有50多个药品通过了特殊审批途径，然后开展审评，有4个疫苗附条件获得上市。
Through the special approval channel, about 50, which has opened a fast approval channel for some COVID-related products and vaccines. 40 products, more than 40 products has been approved through the special approval channel, and 4 vaccines has been approved through this channel.
截至今年10月底，已经有33种药品通过这4种快速审评途径在中国上市，67个药品给予了突破性疗法资格。
Of October this year, 33 products has been approved to go to the market through this special approval channel, and there are 60 products is under evaluation process of this special approval channel.
下面要跟大家简单介绍一下我们印度方面非常关注的，就是药品原辅包的关联审评制度。
Now I would like to introduce the aspect which concerns much to the India side, that is the joint review for drugs, excipients, and the packing material.
对于已经在中国的原辅包平台登记注册的产品，可以直接与化学制剂关联审评。
For products which are already registered in China market, which can go through the joint application for medical products channel directly.
对于没有注册的产品，可以与制剂同时提交审评审批。
For the unregistered products, the application can be submitted jointly.
对于尚未在中国注册，但是已经有原研的 API 在中国使用和上市的产品，也就是说，仿制中国已上市原料药的，可以单独提交审评审批。
For products which have already sold in the China market, which can go through the joint review and approval directly.
No, for APIs already marketed in China, the API manufacturers can just submit a registration document and for independent review and approval.
Thank you. 不太懂这种，谢谢。
下面我简单介绍一下我们中国国家药监局今年发布的几个重要的文件。
Now I would like to briefly introduce some documents released by the National Medical Products Administration this year.
第一个重要的文件就是药品上市后变更管理办法，以及随后发布的几个技术指导原则。
The first is the administration of post-marketing drug changes. That is the pilot version, and several technical documents released subsequent to this administration these measures.
这个文件呢，为药品上市许可人增加了药品上市许可人的一个变更的路径，将药品的注册和药品的生产监管结合起来，通过药品的注册管理和上市后的生产监督管理相结合，形成合力，有助于药品的全生命周期管理。
This measures is about the market authorization holder system. Through their provisions, through the combination of drug registration and supervision, which will be conducive to the drug life cycle management in China.
第二个制度就是说，我们中国国家药监局和知识产权局联合发布的，对于药品的专利早期纠纷解决实施办法，以及随后国家知识产权局和中国最高人民法院联合发布的关于药品专利早期纠纷的行政裁决和案件处理意见。
The second is about the implementation measures for the mechanism for early settlement of drug patent disputes, which is jointly released by the National Medical Products Administration and the China National Intellectual Property Administration, and also the judicial settlement measures for the mechanism of early settlement of drug patent disputes, which was jointly released by the Supreme Court of the People's Republic of China and the China National Intellectual Property Administration.
至此，中国的药品专利早期解决机制基本确立，也就是我们平常所说的药品专利链接制度。
Till now, China has basically established the mechanism for early settlement of drug patent disputes.
将药品的审评审批与药品的早期专利链接相结合，有助于保护原研产品的原研专利人的利益，鼓励创新，同时有利于鼓励仿制药的高质量发展。
Which linked the drug review and approval procedures to the early dispute the patent settlement mechanism of the drugs at the early stage, which will benefit the innovation and high quality development of generic drugs.
而为了促进仿制药的高质量发展，这个文件明确了对于首仿且专利挑战成功的产品给予12月的市场独占期。
To encourage the high quality development of generic drugs, these regulations give the patent drugs the special coverage period of 12 months.
而为了落实专利链接制度，中国国家药监局也建立了中国上市药品专利信息登记平台，便于企业查询。
To implement these areas, the National Medical Products Administration has established the China post-market drug patent information registration platform, which will facilitate the information query of pharmaceutical companies.
强大的监管促进强大的产业，强大的产业促进强大的监管，监管和产业密不可分。经过几年的发展，中国已经基本建立了科学高效的药品监督审批制度。
Strong supervision nurtures strong industry.
我们也可以看到，近2年来，在中国国家药监局申报的药品越来越多，同时审批的进程也在不断的加快。
We can see in recent years, there are more and more products which apply the for registration to the NMPA.
2019年，中国国家药监局审批了588个药品，而在去年疫情非常艰难的情况下，我们还审评了939件药品上市。
In 2019, NMPA has reviewed and approved 588 drugs, and in 2020, against the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, NMPA has reviewed and approved 939 drugs.
在去年的上半年，中国国家药监局审批了377个药品上市，而在今年的上半年就审批了766个，基本上实现了 double。
In the first half of 2020, NMPA has reviewed and approved 373 drugs, and in the first half of this year, NMPA has reviewed and approved 766 drugs, achieving a double rate growth.
而对于新药的鼓励制度，近年来也发生了很大的一个变化。First in class 的产品在中国的审批上市也越来越快。我们从下边的表中可以看到，2018年的时候，中国审批了 First in class drug 是9个，2020年的时候已经增加到20个，而在今年的1到10月份，已经审批上市了27个 First in class drugs。
For the approval and for the review and approval policies regarding the new drugs, that is specific to the first-class drugs. In 2019, there are 9 first-class drugs has been reviewed and approved. In 2019, there were 10 drugs, and in the year of 2020, the number is 20.
随着药品国际化的发展以及国际贸易的进展，我们也看到中国对于进口药品的审批也获得了飞速的发展，对进口药品在中国注册上市的步伐也在不断的加快。
Along with the internationalization and international trade in the in the pharmaceutical sector, China has speed up its pace in the approval for marketing of imported drugs.
我们可以看到，在2020年的时候，中国审批的进口药品获得了飞速的增长，120多个产品中，其中72个是境外生产的原研新药。
As we can see from the PPT, in the year of 2020, China has achieved faster growth for the approval of imported drugs. For the 120 approved drugs, 72 of them are new innovative drugs from overseas enterprises.
随着对进口药品审评的加速，我们对境外核查也提出了一个新的要求。从2011年开始，国家药监局发布了境外核查的实施方案。
At the speeding up of overseas inspection for overseas drugs, China has rolled out the scheme for overseas drug inspection.
2019年，中国国家药监局派出了33个核查队伍，119名境外核查员，赴15个国家和地区开展了境外检查。
In 2019, NMPA has dispatched 33 inspection groups consisting of 119 inspectors and went to 15 countries and regions to conduct the overseas inspection.
这里面也包括在印度实施的检查。那么在“十三五”的国家药品安全规划中，也提出来了对药品的境外核查，每年要对40到60个的进口药品开展境外核查。
Among these inspections, inspection to in India is also included. According to the National Plan for Drug Safety, during the period of the 13th five-year plan, about 40 to 60 overseas drugs have to be inspected overseas annually.
应该说，对于想进入中国市场的企业而言，药品注册只是其中的第一个进程。要想真正的占领中国市场，或者在中国市场上立足，必须要跨越3个跨栏。第一个，药品注册；第二个，就是公立采购中的集中招标采购；第三个，就是要必须纳入到国家的医保目录当中。
It can be said registration of drugs is only a part of work for Chinese for overseas drugs to enter the China market. They have to cover 3 hurdles. That is the drug registration. The second is the centralized procurement. And the third one is the national reimbursement drug list.
因为中国的公立市场在中国占到了80%以上的市场份额。如果一个药品没有进入公立市场的话，那么它在中国即使做的商业化步伐再快，也不会超过20%。而中国公立市场，中国所有的医院的处方之中，80%以上开具的都是医保目录里的产品。
Because in China, the public market accounts for 80%. If one foreign drug, overseas drug cannot enter the public market, then its share in China cannot surpass 20%.
The hospitals give the drugs. 80% of the drugs is English.
The hospital give 80% of these drugs at the public market.
下面我简要介绍一下中国的药品集中招标采购制度。这个制度呢，始于2018年的我们业界说的4+7。当时我们印度的 Pharmaceutical 和中国一起开始开展中印的药品合作的时候，也多次提到，我们也邀请了国家医保局的领导给印度的药企做详细的讲解。具体这个制度的设计，我就不做详细的陈述。但是呢，我可以跟大家分享一下到目前为止的进展。截止到今年，中国国家医保局已经开展了5次的药品集中采购，有218个药品被纳入，平均价格降幅超过50%。
Next, I would like to briefly introduce China's centralized drug procurement system. This system was rolled out in 2018. When the initial launch of this system, we have discussed with the Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council of India and discussed the details many times at that time. As of now, China has conducted 5 centralized drug procurement tenders. In total, 218 drugs has been procured, which greatly reduced the drug price more than 50% on average.
非常高兴的看到呢， 印度企业 Dr. Reddy 在2019年的时候，奥丹平在9月初通过了仿制药一致性评价，时隔2周之后就纳入了集采，涵盖了8个省市的招标采购份额。
We are very pleased to say the Olazapi tablets from India pharmaceutical company Dr. Reddy has went through the drug consistency evaluation in the early September of 2019, and later it was included in the centralized drug procurement list.
而印度的Sun Pharma 在今年的第5批药品集中招标采购中，也有一个药品，就是比鲁卡胺，也纳入了国家的药品招标采购目录中，集中招标采购中。
The products bicalutamide from India pharmaceutical company Sun Pharma has been included in the centralized drug procurement list this year. That is on the 5th batch of the procurement work.
对于尚未大幅进入中国药品市场的印度仿制药企业而言，药品招标采购制度应该是非常好的一个制度。在你不用过度的去建立销售队伍的情况下，通过药品的集中采购，能够快速的进入到中国市场。
For the generic drug companies of India which have not entered the Chinese market, the centralized drug procurement system is a very good system which can help them to enter the Chinese company at a faster pace.
下面我简单介绍一下中国的国家医保目录。截止到目前为止，也就是在上个月的国家医保谈判之后，在今年的就是本月初发布的国家医保目录来看，目前有2860种药品纳入到国家医保目录中，其中西药产品1486个，中药产品2266个。
Next, I would like to briefly introduce China's national reimbursement drug list. According to a calculation as of early of this month, there are 2,860 drugs have been included in this list. Among these, 1,486 are Western medicine, and 2,266 are traditional Chinese medicine.
中国的国家医保准入制度是一项非常重要的制度，也是中国国家医保局的1号文件，就已经非常的明确的就是着药品的用药的管理。那么明确了国家医保局可以制定国家医保目录，在今年之前是给予了中国的各个省是有15%的一个权限可以新增药品目录，但是从明年开始，全国只有1个药品目录，就是国家医保局制定的全国性的这个医保目录。
This list is of high importance in China. It was made by the #1 document of the National Administration of National Healthcare Security Administration. This year, 15 provinces in China has been given the right to add drugs to this list, but from next year, there will only be one national list.
很多的医保目录产品都是一些独家品种，可以通过谈判进入。那么在过去的4年中，中国已经有250种药品通过谈判的方式进入医保目录，平均降幅在50%以上。
Many products included in the NRDL are exclusive products. Last year, there are 250 drugs have been added to this list through negotiation.
我们在第一部分中谈到，中国的药品的审评审批总的时限是可以预期的。那么通过医保目录的调整，我们现在企业的产品上市之后进入医保目录的时限也是可以预期的。在过去，大家抱怨最多的是中国的医保目录是2年一小整、一小条，5年一大条。所以很多药品进入目录要延迟到5到6年的时间，甚至8年的时间。但是目前实施的是1年一调整。所以对于新的药品上市之后进入中国的医保目录来说，对满足可及性患者用药的可及性来说，是一个非常好的事件。
As we mentioned in the early session, the timeline for the drug review and approval can be expected in China. It's the safe case for the drug to be included in the NRDL. Now, this list will be adjusted on yearly basis. And in last years, the adjustment of this list have received many complaints, but now it has been improved. If one company, if one product are being included, are being added to this list, it will go to the market very soon, so that to timely satisfy the need of patients.
通过实施医保目录的调整，至少实现了2个成果。一个是就是医保目录的动态调整，1年一调，只要一个产品在当年的6月30号之前获批，都可以参与当年的医保谈判。
Through the adjustment of this list, at least two achievements have been acquired. That is, if one product has been added to the list before June 30 of the year, it can participate in the healthcare negotiation.
第二个是通过医保目录的一个调整，可以让和产品的一个降价，以量换价，可以降低医保的成本，同时呢，加快新药进入目录，同时便于百姓用药，基本上是实现了多方的共赢。
Through the adjustment of this list, we can achieve the win-win result through qualities for prices, which can greatly reduce the drug expenditures, and which will be beneficial for the people to use drugs, use medicines.
同时，对于进口药品而言，我们现在中国实行的是进口产品和国外的产品同等待遇，一视同仁。
For imported drugs, China has treated the products equally with the products, the pharmaceutical products manufactured in China.
在2018年到2020年的3年间，有267个西药产品被新增到国家医保目录中，其中有137个进口药品，占了全部新增西药产品的51.4%。
From the year 2018 to 2020, 267 Western drugs were added to the national reimbursement drug list, including 137 imported drugs, which accounts for 51.4% of the newly added drugs.
在135个谈判成功的西药产品中，88个为进口药品。
Among the 135 Western drugs successfully negotiated, 88 were imported drugs.
下面我谈一下中印在药品领域的合作机遇。我们中国有句古话：“远亲不如近邻”。中印两国作为制药大国，又紧密相连，在未来在全球的药品供应链体系中，应该发挥更大的作用，也有更多的合作空间。
Next, I would like to evaluate on opportunities for China and India cooperation in the pharmaceutical sector. As the oldest thing in China, remote relatives are not better than close neighbor. India and China should play more efficient role in the pharmaceutical cooperation of both sides and achieve more fruitful results in this sector.
那么首先呢，中印两国是全球最大的两个原料药和医药中间体生产国。印度呢，也是中国最大的原料药合作伙伴之一。
First of all, India and China are big powers in the APIs and intermediate products, and India is also one of the bigger supply. One of the biggest drug material supply for China.
而在仿制药领域，我们可以看到，印度的仿制药进入中国的步伐是在逐步加快的，特别在2018年以来，基本上实现了接近翻番。
In the generic drug sector, the market entry pace has been speed up for India products to the Chinese market, especially since 2018.
除了贸易领域的合作，我们可以看到，印度的非常多的仿制药企业已经加速了进入中国的步伐。这其中包括一些大的企业在中国设立合资公司，以及一些商业推广的合作。
Besides the cooperation in the trade sector, many generic pharmaceutical companies in India have stepped up their efforts in entering the Chinese market, including setting up joint venture companies and appointing product commercialization agencies.
比如印度的太阳药业跟康哲、跟恩华等中国的一些非常好的企业的开展了合作。印度的 Lupin 在泰州投资设厂，印度的 Hetero 跟辅仁药业建立 joint venture 来发展抗癌药物，以及像 Strides 跟四环医药成立合资公司，格兰玛克跟海思科等建立商业合作关系。Olympic 跟我们的上药集团开展合作，等等等等。
Many India pharmaceutical companies have established a joint cooperation relationship with famous Chinese companies, either through the methods of joint venture and the contract manufacture, etc. These Indian companies include Lexan Pharma, Lupin, Hinterus, Strides, Glenmark, Cipla, etc.
这些合作的案例也再次证明了中国企业加强与印度制药业合作的愿望。中国复星医药收购了印度的 Gland Pharma， 中国的国药集团在印度投资设厂，这些都证明了中国企业 加强与印度合作的一个信心和决心。
This case has displayed the desire of Indian pharmaceutical companies to seek cooperation with Chinese companies. China's Fosun company has acquired Glenmark in India, and also Sinopharm has established factory in India.
除了仿制药领域的合作机遇之外，其实中印在临床实验、CDMO、CMC 技术方面还有很多的一些合作机会。
Besides the cooperation opportunities in the generic drug sector, actually, India and China boast a lot of cooperation opportunities in the clinical trial, test period, etc.
随着中国生物医药产业的发展，我们说中国的 biotech 公司正在崛起，很多的华人从国外留学回来，很多的从跨国企业出来的人在中国成立 biotech 公司。那么中国的创新药进程在不断的加快，未来在中印两国在创新药领域的合作机遇也会越来越多。
With the faster development of pharmaceutical and biological industry in China, China's biotech companies are emerging. Many Chinese students who studied overseas have come back to China and set up the biotech companies. China and India will boost more cooperation opportunities in the innovative drug sector.
在这个过程中，我们看到一些印度的非常大的企业，印度的 Top 10的企业已经开始着手与中国的创新药公司开展合作。我们看到印度的Sun Pharma 已经跟成都先导公司在研发领域开展合作 ，Dr. Reddy 也开始从中国引进抗体药物，西普拉与百奥泰等中国的生物技术公司开始开展第三方市场合作。应该说，印度在全球的市场布局和商业化能力是非常强的。那么未来在生物医药领域的第三方市场合作，我认为也有非常多的机遇。
During this course, many India companies, especially the top 10, have embarked on the cooperating process with Chinese company. Like Sun Pharma has established a cooperation with one company based in Chengdu, and Dr. Reddy has also established a cooperation in the antibody products development. And also there are several other famous Indian brands which have conducted such cooperation in this sector. I can say there will be more and more cooperating opportunities in the third-party market cooperation for the biotech domain.
Yeah, because I think Indian pharmaceutical has a strong presence in the promoting market and a strong commercial ability. So I think there are many opportunities for China and India cooperation in the innovative drugs and biotechnology area. 谈了这么多中印的合作，也让我不禁想起，自2018年以来，我们跟中印开展了一个系列合作，包括我还记得当年印度的商工部的胡密查达哈先生率领印度的代表团，与我们中国的商务部开展了合作，把我们的医药领域纳入到一个重点的合作领域，以及我们中国 CCC-MHPIE 与我们印度的协会签订了 MOU， 以及我们开展的系列的 business meeting 的一个活动。
After this series of discussion, I can recall the serious business cooperation between the two sides since 2018. I can recall the Assistant Secretary of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry of India, delegate visited China with a delegation. During this visit, the cooperation in pharma sector has been incorporated into the bilateral cooperation. Our chamber has also and the India counterparts have signed the memorandum of understandings in the pharma sector and conducted a series of business connecting activities in this sector.
在我们大家的共同努力下，我们也推动了中印两国药监管机构的第一次局长对话会。我们中国国家药监局的徐景和副局长和印度 CDSCO 的 Reddy 局长一块儿见证了中印两国的监管和产业合作。
Under the joint efforts of both sides, we have promoted the meeting between the representatives of drug regulatory bodies in China and India, which is a witness of India and China pharmaceutical cooperation.
而在中印的 SEP 框架下，我们医药工作组的工作也在逐步的推进，对中印制造业伙伴关系也提出了一些新的要求。我们希望在未来能够进一步的推进。
Under the India-China SED Strategic Economic Dialogue Mechanism, our cooperation has been promoted steadily, and we have also raised the new requirements for our cooperation.
随着我们监管和产业合作交流的深入，我们也可以看到双方对彼此的理解更加深了，对政策的理解也更加的透彻了。那么在3年的工作开展以来，我们看到越来越多的印度的原料药和仿制药在中国获批。我简单看了一下 NMPA 在原辅料登记平台上的印度注册登记的一些原料药品种，发现大部分都是2018年以来开展的一些登记。
With the deepening of bilateral exchanges and the regulatory policies of China policies, we have understand each other better. We have noticed many India generic drugs acquired the approval in China in the year of 2018.
我们也看到，随着我们印度药企对中国药品监管制度和审批制度理解的加深，他们也开展了跟中国国家药监局以及 CDE 的一些沟通工作。我们就从今年看到，就看 Dr. Reddy 就与 CDE 开展了2次的沟通。
We have noticed that with the deepening understanding of India companies into the Chinese regulatory mechanism, the Indian companies have deepened their interaction, strengthened their interaction with the Chinese regulatory bodies, such as the Center for Drug Evaluation and the National Medical Products Administration. Among these, we can name the Indian company Dr. Reddy.
我们也很高兴的看到，像 Dr. Reddy 的丁苯大嗪已经纳入到中国的优先审批名单中。
We are pleased to say the products from one Indian company has already been included in the
priority list. 我们也可以看到，就今年以来 ，Dr. Reddy 已经有3个很重磅级的产品在中国获批，包括 Orphan Drugs 地拉罗斯以及抗癌药物阿比特龙。
We have noticed 3 drugs from Dr. Reddy has acquired approval in China. That is including 1 orphan drugs, The second is anti-cancer drugs.
我相信所有印度企业在中国取得的进展，以及中国企业在印度取得的进展，跟我们近几年来频繁开展的中印的监管和产业交流是离不开的。
I believe the progress achieved by Indian companies in Chinese market and the progress achieved by a Chinese company in Indian market is closely related to our bilateral exchanges conducted in recent years.
虽然疫情阻挡了我们见面的机会，但是我们在通过线上、通过 email 的信息的分享和交流始终不停止。
Although the pandemic blocked the opportunities for us to see each other face to face, but our in exchanges through online methods like email has never stopped.
我们中国医保商会作为中印医药双边框架下的医药工作组牵头人，我们的大门永远向印度朋友打开。我们也期待通过与印度合作伙伴的共同努力，进一步推动中印医药的合作再上一节。
Our chamber, CCCMHPIA, as the leading coordinating organization for China pharmaceutical sector international exchange and cooperation, will always be open to the to Indian companies.
最后，感谢印度药品出口促进委员会对我们的工作的信任和支持，感谢印度驻华大使馆提供的协助，然后感谢翻译，谢谢大家。
At last, I would like to thank the trust and support from the India Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council, and thanks the facilitation from the Embassy of India, Beijing, and thanks for the interpretation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kyo Ziordian, Subsecretary of FPF and Director CCMP, for your elaborative presentation on policy update on drug registration and how procurement is done in China. Thank you so much. Moving forward, we have with us Mr. Ravi Udaybhaskar, Director General Pharmaceutical, who will be giving a presentation on policy update on pharmaceutical industry and progress in India. Sir, may I request you to kindly give your presentation.
接下来有请印度药品出口促进委员会主席 Ravi 先生做有关于印度医药行业政策和进展的情况演示报告。
Thank you, Murli. I would like to suggest to the interpreter, at the interest of the time, we are already 40 minutes behind the schedule. There are business meetings also after this. I think most of the people out of 103 or 105 members, most of the people can understand the simple language. Wherever there is a text, I'll ask her to interpret instead of having slide to slide interpretation, so that we can go forward. I'm very much thankful to Ma'am Mengdong Ping and the CC MPI, and ladies and gentlemen. Here I'm going to give you a very brief presentation on policy update on pharmaceutical industry and progress in India. Next slide, please. This right now, our previous speaker have already mentioned about the few companies who are very much there and operating in China. Companies like Sun Pharma and Dr. Reddy's, Cipla, Lupin, and all these companies are very much there, and they're operating. 8 out of 20 global generic companies are from India, and you're also aware of that 90% of WHO pre-qualified APIs are sourced from India. Ask him to give a full screen, Sanjay, the presentation. Mr. Jayant, will you give me that presentation full screen? "65 to 70% of WHO vaccine requirements are sourced from India. And India have highest number of US FDA approved facilities outside US, that is 744 as on August 2021. And ANDAs, abbreviated new drug applications and market authorizations secured by Indian companies are 4,346 as on December 2020. And we also have number of EU GMP compliant units, 743 as of 15 December 2021. Just I would like to talk about India's exports. Exports in the financial year 20 is 20.58 billion US dollars with 7.57% growth rate. And next slide, please. Exports in the financial year 21. India exported 24.5 billion US dollars with 18.2% growth rate. The pie chart also speaks about the categories of the drugs what we have exported. The major share is from drug formulations and biologicals. It is 73%, and active pharmaceutical ingredients and the bulk drugs or whatever intermediates are 18%, and 3% surgicals and 4% vaccines and 2% Ayush and herbal products. So indeed, these are the top. Next slide, please. Jayant, is there no possibility to show the slide? Top 10 exporting destinations of India. USA is the largest exporting destination with, in the last financial year, we exported 7.723 billion US dollars worth of drugs. And these countries, it shows that USA, South Africa, UAE, and China is our 10th largest exporting destination in the last financial year. We have exported 382.73 million US dollars with a growth rate of 32.91. This clearly shows that during the pandemic, both these countries are working very closely, and these are the only two countries not only met the needs of their population, as well as both the countries have exported the drugs which are meant for treating COVID-19 to the entire world. Next, please. The Indian imports, if you see, we are importing 3.841 billion US dollars worth of APIs, intermediates, and KSMs in financial year 2021. And if you see our imports from, particularly from China in financial year 2021, is 2,615.65 million US dollars. So there is a, as discussed earlier, there is a substantial imports from China, and so this is the area where India, China can work together at the interest of India. As far as the generic formulation is concerned, the Meng has rightly mentioned in her initial address that the India is known for its capabilities in producing generic finished dosage forms, and China is very strong in APIs, basic chemicals, and intermediates. Next, please. Go back to that. Go back to the previous slide. Yeah. So during the pandemic, this is the response. Particularly, we have supplied repurposed drugs and other antiviral drugs which are used for the treatment of COVID-19 to different countries. But if you see the area where India excelled extraordinary well is that the first time in India they developed the indigenous vaccine, Covaxin by Bharat Biotech with the state-owned Indian Council for Medical Research and National Institute of Virology, and that got WHO EN approval. And Zydus Cadila is another company which is in the top 8 companies globally out of the 20 generic leaders. They also developed the world first DNA vaccine, the Jaco D, needleless vaccine. And Serum Institute of India, one of the largest manufacturers of vaccines. So they have a manufacturing agreement for AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine Covishield, and they supplied to most of the countries in the world. Indian government has supplied 6.6 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to more than 94 countries. Another company, Biological E, is in collaboration with Johnson and vaccine. And the other companies like Dr. Reddy's, Hetero, Panacea Biotech, and Gland Pharma. Of course, Gland Pharma is from Fosun, is the management owned by Chinese side. And Vicho Biotech and Serum Institute of India, all these companies, are nowhere in the world. So many companies are involved in the manufacture of these vaccines. Interpretation, please, if possible. Okay. The policy measures for development of industry. In line with Atmanirbhar Bharat, to enhance India's manufacturing capabilities by increasing investment and production, the Government of India has approved the following schemes to promote domestic pharma manufacturing sector. The promotion of bulk drug park scheme for financing common infrastructure facilities in 3 bulk drug parks with financial assistance of 420 million US dollars for the next 5 years. The production linked incentive PLI 1 for promotion of domestic manufacturing of critical KSMs and drug intermediates and APIs in the country with financial implication of 970 million US dollars for the next 8 years. The production linked incentive PLI 2 scheme is with 2,110 million US dollars incentives to boost domestic manufacturing of pharmaceuticals. Next slide, please. There are 3 categories under PLI 2. The first category covers included the biopharmaceuticals, complex generic drugs, patented drugs, drugs nearing patent expiry, cell-based or gene therapy drugs, orphan drugs, complex excipients, and phytopharmaceuticals. The second category covers active pharmaceutical ingredients and KSMs, key starting materials, drug intermediates, excluding those covered under earlier the PLI scheme. Third category covers repurposed drugs, autoimmune drugs, anti-cancer drugs, anti-diabetic drugs, anti-infective drugs, cardiovascular drugs and psychotropic drugs, and antiretroviral drugs, in vitro diagnostic devices, and other drugs not manufactured in India. With this, a major thrust in investment is expected by the pharmaceutical industry, which is ultimately aimed at meeting the objectives of the scheme. Next, please. The Government of India and the Ministry of Health, the CDSCO, came with the new drugs and clinical trial rules. It is effective from 19/3/2019. New drugs definition scope has been broadened to include phytopharmaceuticals, living modified organisms, monoclonal antibodies, stem cell derived product, gene therapeutic product, or xenografts. The waiver to academic clinical trials. Earlier it was not there. Now the new rules have waived the clinical trials, particularly in the research institutions and academic institutions. Next slide. These are provisions of accelerated approval to a new drug for a disease or a condition taking into account the severity, rarity, or prevalence, and the availability of lack of alternative treatments, provided that there is a prima facie case of the product being of meaningful therapeutic benefit over the existing treatment. During the pandemic, actually, there are so many drugs which were permitted by DCGI for repurposed drugs, which were used for a different kind of a treatment earlier. But during the pandemic, not only India, most of the countries have done this. And the provisions for pre-consultation have been incorporated. Earlier, there was no provision for pre-consultation, and a separate provision for registration of ethics committee for bioavailability and bioequivalence study and market authorization. Next slide, please. These are the timelines for new drugs and clinical trials. Reduction in timelines for approval. The CT innovated in India within 30 days. CT, if drug is already approved by other countries, within 90 days. The new drug within 90 days. Processing of import license is 90 days. If the central licensing authority fails to communicate the permission to conduct the clinical trial, shall be deemed to have been granted. If DCGI or the central licensing authority fail to issue the permission within the stipulated timelines mentioned in that clinical trial rules, you can take it as it is approved. And for the benefit of the audience, I have given the website and the links for more details. They can log in and they can see. Next, please. The Government of India and the Minister of Health is also, going for an amendment to Schedule M with an objective to upgrade in line with WHO GMP standards. Particularly, the silent features are that pharmaceutical quality system (PQS) is incorporated, which is not present in the current Schedule M of Drugs and Cosmetics Act. The quality risk management is incorporated to evaluate the risk to quality based on scientific knowledge with the process, and ultimately links to the protection of the patient. It's a completely a patient-centered provision is included in the draft of Schedule M. The change control is incorporated in revised Schedule M to evaluate all changes that may affect the production and quality of the product. The supplier audit and approval is incorporated. Most of the countries have started doing that. India also wanted to join in that, and we wanted to have a supplier's audit and approval is very much needed at this point of time. Stability studies requirements have been elaborated in the revised Schedule M. The link is given at the bottom. You can go and see the details of draft Schedule M. Next, please. So this shows that, you know, the show must go on. So during her marathon speech, Ma'am Meng Ping has mentioned that, you know, there should be a strong collaboration and both the countries need to work together for the betterment of not only the pharmaceutical industry, for the betterment of the people. So we have a large population and we have an expertise in particularly in the area of pharmaceuticals, and most of the Indian top companies are also operating. And China is the second largest pharma market in the world after US, and India is also having 50 billion market, and it is going to grow in the days to come. So the entire industry and is very much keen to work very closely, and I think due to the pandemic, our interactions are confined to very limited time. So I think this is a good beginning in the days to come. Certainly, our engagements and the collaboration between Indian pharmaceutical industry and Chinese pharmaceutical industry will go on. I request the triple CMHPI to sensitize or to closely work with Indian pharmaceutical industry, and also what we understood is that you know, the registration process is not happening in expected pace. That is one of the objectives, and certainly we too have a separate meeting if it is acceptable to the CCMPHA. So we have a very cordial relations, and we'll continue to do that. And I wish all the participants a very all the best, and wish you good luck. Thank you very much. And I'm also thankful to Embassy of India for providing an interpreter for this program. Thank you.
You, Mr. Uday Bhaskar, for providing us the insight on the pharma exports to China, as well as on the PLI, what the initiatives taken by the government to promote API manufacturing, and the update on on the front of regulatory development. Thank you so much, sir. Moving forward, we have Mr. Damon Yang, Director Apollo. May I request you to kindly give your presentation on keeping high quality and stable supplies of APIs and business opportunities. Over to you, Mr. Damon Young.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. So I just open my presentation firstly. Okay, so now is my voice clear? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ravi Bhaskar, for the introduction. Actually, that introduction has helped us Chinese enterprises to have a much better understanding about how to run in Indian market. And also thank you for the invitation, and so that I can represent Chinese manufacturers of APIs to share some ideas to the friends either in India or in China. Because usually before this epidemic situation, actually we have a lot of opportunities to meet each other, such as CPHI China, CPHI India. But now I think based on this kind of opportunity, we can also change some ideas and share some things so that we can move forward in both markets. Okay, my name is Damon Yang from Apollo Pharmaceutical, and actually I have around 10 years experience in exporting APIs and key starting materials to Indian market. And today my topic is keeping high quality and stable supply of APIs to explore some business opportunities. Actually, this is a very wide topic. It's a very big topic. So I will just share some of my ideas from the perspective of Chinese API manufacturers. So before my presentation, I will show you some data and also some reports based about the API market, the global market of APIs. And from the right side, you can see that for the amid of COVID-19 crisis, the global market for APIs is estimated at 177.5 billion in the year of 2020. I mean, last year. So this year is going to be growth like 190.9 billion US dollars. So in 2026, the market is projected to reach a revised size of 265.3 billion. So after thorough analysis of the business implications of the pandemic and its induced economic crisis, so growth at the generic segment is readjusted as a revised 7.4% CAGR for the next 7 years period. So this segment is currently accounts for around 30% share of the global API market. So as patents for the branded API expire, so opportunities for generic APIs will increase, which will result in augmented API demand. So on the left side of this map, so it's about the API market, which is divided by the growth rate by region. So based on the color difference, you can see that both India and China is performing as a very key role in terms of the growth of the APIs. So there's a big necessary that we Chinese enterprises and Indian enterprises to have a better communication to explore some corporate opportunities. Okay, so my contents, my presentation will be divided into 3 parts. First part is the development situation of API industry in China. And second is about the focus on the high standard development of APIs. Then last but not the least, I will share some cooperation opportunities between India and China from the perspective of my working experience and also in the perspective of Chinese manufacturers of APIs. Okay, first part. So China is performing as the largest producer and exporter of APIs in the world. Actually, now we have around 2,000 APIs being approved in China, and for the numbers of manufacturers of APIs, actually we have more than 1,300 manufacturers in China. And from the right side, you can see that even for the small-sized, even including the small-sized factories or companies, we have more than 5,000 companies which are engaged in manufacture of APIs. And now in China, the total capacity of APIs is around 2 million metric tons. So this is a very big number, big volume. And the revenue is around, so in US dollars, is something around 63 billion US dollar. So which counts for 16% of the total pharma industry revenue. And based on my understanding, and also I have checked some data, I think this percentage is even higher in India market. I think it's something around, I remember it's something around 35%. And among all the production of APIs, so our Chinese APIs, 22% are exported to the worldwide market. And India is a very important partners for us to export our APIs. And especially for vitamins and antibiotics, Chinese is very strong in this category. And also because of the COVID influence in pillars like miropillams, imipillams, actually since last 2 years, China the export growth is very high. And also for statins, now Chinese manufacturers is also playing a very important role in the global market. Okay, so this is the highlights of the links of the API industries between India and China. So first one is about that 50%, almost half of the APIs in India are imported, and the bulk of this are imported from China. And second is about the Indian pharma industries is highly dependent on the imports of China for some of the key APIs. I think the Indian industry has also doing quite a lot of investigations on what kind of APIs is being mostly imported from China, such as penicillin G, levodopa, streptomycin, meropenem, capitoba, vancomycin, gentamicin, and prednisolone. So these all APIs are highly dependent on import from China. And apart from that, domestically produced APIs in India accounts for 50% of the total quantity. But the key starting materials, and the KSMs, usually we call it intermediates, from the key APIs like caffeine, chlorophenicol, azithromycin, sulfadoxine, ciprofloxacin, metformin, levofloxacin, ofloxacin, ampicillin, amoxicillin, and also some cephalosporins are sourced from China. And all fermentation-based products like penicillin G, amoxicillin, tetracycline, also the key starting materials of amoxicillin like 6-APA, these are used as base raw materials for most antibiotics and also have a very high dependence on China. So these products can be at the risk of going out of supply. So actually now I think India pharma industries is also doing some work to start some fermentation project in India. Okay, so this is the about the main obstacles for API development from our manufacturer's perspective of view. So first is about the industrial infrastructure. So this has to be further improved. It means that for the innovation, actually now China has put in a lot of efforts and put a lot of attention on this, but however, it is not enough. So whenever some project or some products is of high profit, so all the manufacturers will rush to this category, and then the price will come down and the profit will be less. And this again will cause some vicious circle, and also the added value will be low. So this is one of the challenges from the API industry. And the second one is about the industrial distribution. Actually now it is majorly linked with the location of the manufacturing sites. So as you may know, or majority of people may know that from now or from past, many factories or many API manufacturers are facing some problems in terms of pollution treatment. So they have to move to the rural areas in China. Many factories have to move to Inner Mongolia, to other rural areas or rural province to start production. However, this industrial zone is not centralized enough, or is not being developed in a good way. So now people or many factories are also facing problems in terms of the industrial distribution. And the third one is about the green production. So this is a very hot topic. Actually, this has to be well demonstrated again in China or either in India. Actually, for the manufacturing of APIs, it's majorly divided by two parts. First part is about the chemical reaction. So actually, there are 5 platforms of technology which is very hot nowadays for all API manufacturers. The first 2 is related to the chemical reaction. First one is biocatalyst, and second one is about the flow chemistry. And the second category is about the purification of the APIs. So there are majorly three technologies. One is crystallization, and the second one is dissolution, and then is chromatograph preparation. So actually, this 5 is the major technology obstacles or very hot categories in terms of chemical reactions. And the right side is the challenging of the API's supply chain. Actually, we are also performing a very important role in terms of APIs and intermediates export. So we have been exporting to India for around $100 million US every year. I mean, our company, Apello, but we are always facing the chasing or the complaint from the API, from the customers in India that we are facing the shortage of the supply. Actually, this is being caused because of the 3 reasons, as per my understanding. The first is about the epidemic situation. So I think several days back, there was news that Pfizer has said that this COVID-19 pandemic could be extended to 2024. Actually, nowadays we are also planning for some abroad trip, but I think next year maybe also is a big challenge for us to go abroad. And but luckily, yesterday night, the FDA, US FDA has approved the anti-COVID drugs, Paxlovid of Pfizer, and I think based on the help of the vaccine and also the anti-COVID drugs, the human beings will fight with the COVID in a big way, and finally we will succeed in this battle. And second one is about the environmental friendly leads. Actually, now in China, many factories is facing the problems of treatment of waste. So that is also affecting a lot in the production and also the delivery. And also this is a big challenge into the supply chain. The third one is about the planning. Actually, because of the COVID situation, like many aspects is being affected, such as the shipping lines and the production and inventory. So based on that situation, so all the buyers or all the manufacturers have to do better planning so that they can overcome the shortage of the supply and also to have a better supply chain management on this field. Okay, the second point or second part from my presentation is the focus on high standard development of APIs. So in our point of view, so the focus on the future high standard development of APIs, either in the quality or in the supply chain, can be majorly considered as 5 aspects. And the first one is about the technology and innovation. So this is a very big topic. For innovations, actually, it will be involved with so many parts, like the R&D Institute and also the government and also the finance and service institutions. So a lot of parts is being involved in this part, and people is trying to focus on innovations, and it is very important for the manufacturers of APIs. And second point is about environment friendly and low carbon production. This is very much related to the policies in China and even in the world, that for all kinds of industrial production, we have to take care of the carbon release, and also we have to be more friendly to the environment. So this is also the point which we have to focus in the future development of APIs. And the third one is about the pharma industry distribution adjustment. So just now I have said that a lot of industrial zones has to be more centralized and to attract enterprises or manufacturers to enter into that specific industrial zone to have the better production and have a better control on the quality and also the pollutions to the environment. And the fourth one is about the improvement of the industrial chain. Actually, now many factories has been putting thoughts or putting emphasis to extend their industrial chain, because always there is some shortage in the raw materials, so that they were planning to extend their industrial zone to start from the earlier stage or starting from the starting materials to extend their industrial chain. This is also one of the focus of the API development. And as for India factories, as per my understanding, they're also trying a lot to improve their industrial chain or to extend their industrial chain, and so that they will have a better control about their raw materials by themselves. And the last one is about the globally development. People are trying, and people are very much interested to explore the overseas market, either in the finished dosage or in the APIs or even in the KSM. So this is the major 5 focus on the high standard of development of APIs in the point of view of manufacturers of APIs. So what could be done from the API manufacturer side? So actually our factory, our company, Apollo Pharmaceutical, has been in this API industry for over 30 years. Actually, nowadays we are more focused on R&D and regulations and even productions. You can see that this is in Chinese. This is kind of our strategy. So in the future, we will try to strengthen our technology and R&D, and we will have a high standard to comply with the regulations, and also we will try to lower down our cost of production to increase our competitiveness in the market. And in a word, I think for the high quality and the stable supply, so for the manufacturers, we have to do in 5 points. First point is about the investment and the training, especially in the field of R&D, even to the production. And also we have to do much investment in the EHS. And the second one is about the regulations understanding. And because we are international companies, and also for Indian companies or either Chinese companies, we are much more interested, and also we are putting a lot of efforts to explore the overseas market, especially the regulated market. So we have to have a much better understanding about the regulations in your target markets. And the third one is about the supply chain management. This is very essential to the production because we have to meet our needs in the production so that we can have delivery to our factories. So this is very important in the supply chain management. And the fourth one is about the planning on the production and inventory. This is happening a lot that during the epidemic situation, many raw materials are in shortage, and many raw materials price is increasing in a very big way. But to avoid that situation, the thing we can do from our side is that we have to be more well planned in the production or either in the inventory, so that once the market is there, or once the market start to increase, we can have materials to sell in the market. And the last but not the least is about self-innovations and talents. So actually, this is a very key factors in terms of development of API manufacturers. Innovation is very important, and also for the talents, for the people which have talents, we have to try to ask for them help and to have better control on the cost or R&D, so that we can have a more competitiveness in the market. So I think for the enterprises or for the manufacturers, all these 5 points will lead to the high quality and stable supply. So that's my rough understanding about the long-term development of APIs and KSM. Okay, so the last part is about the cooperation opportunities between India and China. So just now, Ms. Meng and Ms. Guo has introduced a lot of cases that Chinese manufacturers and Chinese companies is having a good cooperation with India companies, and also Indian companies is doing a lot in terms of the explore in Chinese market. So first thing we have to understand that between China and India, so we should have cooperation with each other or have competition with each other. So the first two photos can show some information. The first one is about the distribution of American DMF holders. You can see that majority of the holders are from India and China. The first is about the DMF holders in American. So majority is held by India and China. And the second photo is about the leading Chinese export destinations. So India is a very important partners for China. As per my understanding, I think the year before last year, I have attended one activity that we went to the China Embassy of India to have a discussion on how Chinese factories or Chinese manufacturers should do or should improve in terms of export to India market. That we have around 5 billion export to Indian market, and also we have very increasing data that we are also importing a lot of raw materials and calcium and even APIs and finished dosage from Indian market. So we have a very big link between each other among the cooperation of APIs. And also just now I have mentioned that the 50% of the critical APIs are imported from China, and also like Chinese industries have inherent advantage because of economies of scale and support from the Chinese government in the form of financial incentives, infrastructure, and also regulatory policies. And Indian manufacturers of APIs lost their competitive edge in the manufacture of APIs at the lower end of the spectrum and fermentation technologies to countries like China. So actually, between China and India, we have a lot of things to cooperate. So rather than competition, so in our point of view, that we should have better understanding about each other and do some more cooperations. And this kind of cooperations can be a lot of forms. Okay, so the confidence on the cooperation is very important. Actually, we have cooperated with more than 100 customers in India. So we have observed that during the cooperation, many partners is keeping eye on the short-term benefit in terms of long-term value. But from our point of view, I think we should have better understanding about each other and also have better understanding about the business. So we should have pay more attention on the long time period value in terms of short-term benefit. So that is the root of development and also the root of the trust. So I think this is a very important points. And second one is about the resource complementary in terms instead of resource plunder. Actually, we have observed that whenever some materials is being produced in China, and many Indian companies is trying to develop in their self, but sometimes the advantages is not big enough. So that is kind of a waste of resources. So I think for all kinds of raw materials and APIs, we should have considered each other's advantage. And based on that, we should have done more work on the resource complementarity instead of the plunderer, so that we can use each other's advantage to explore our market and explore our capability. And the last point is about the forms of cooperation. Actually, just now Ms. Guo has introduced a lot of cases, such as Sun Pharma, such as Doc Redis. They have already explored a lot in Chinese market. And also, we have done a lot of exports of APIs and calciums to Indian market. And India is also exporting some APIs and intermediates to China. And second one is about the registration, about finished dosage and also APIs. I think now many Chinese companies is acting as the registration agent for many pharmaceutical companies in India, so that they are trying to explore this market. So this is also kind of cooperation. And the third one is about the CDMO cooperation, which is very hot nowadays. And Apollo is also a very strong partner in terms of CDMO. And but that is majorly cooperated with the big pharmas. And for the partners in India, I think we also have a lot of opportunities that whenever we can use each other's advantages to explore the CMO or CDMO business. The fourth cooperation forms is about the joint venture. Actually, there are many cases that we have done and we have tried to do with the Indian partners to do some joint venture, either in India or in China, because of the advantages of the raw materials or energy, or this kind of advantages we are trying to explore and trying to do some joint venture to use each other's advantage to improve the benefit or improve the business. And the last point is about localized acquisition. Actually, there's a very good example about Fosun and Gland Pharma. So this is also kind of cooperation. Fosun is acquired Gland Pharma to have a better localized strategy. So there's a lot of opportunities for the corporations. I think we can have a much detailed discussion whenever we meet each other, or in the meetings organized by the authority. We can try to explore kind of cooperations between China and the India market. Okay, so above is all my introduction, and on the below of my presentation, you can find my address of the email and also my contact details. So actually, I have checked about a list of the audience from Indian side or from the Indian companies, and I saw a lot of old friend is there. So whenever you have any questions, you're most welcome to contact me. And also, we will have to try to share our ideas from the mutual way, and to have a better understanding about the stable supply and also the high quality of the APIs. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Damon Yang. The presentation is very, very informative and to the point. Yes, it is correct that cooperation is more correct than the competition. Yes, we will continue to work together in this regard. Going forward, we have with us Mr. Orlando Wang. He is lead commercial from Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. May I now invite him to give us a presentation on collaboration in generic medicines and stable supplies, the business opportunity. Thank you. Over to you, sir. Jayant, make it big screen.
Okay. Firstly, it's a pleasure to have a presentation. And my name is Orlando Wong. I'm in charge of BD and sales activities. First of all, I'd like to give a brief introduction about our company, Dr. Reddy's. Okay. Dr. Reddy's is a global pharmaceutical company. We have three key business parts. The first one is the generic products, and the second one is pharmaceutical services and API. And the third one is the innovative product. Innovative medicines include biosimilars. And we have more than 22,000 employees across the world. And we have more than 500 formula products approved and commercialized in 50 countries across the world. Last financial year, our total revenue is about $2.6 billion. and we believe good health can wait. That's our slogan. In China, we have more than 20 years business experience in China. Firstly, in the year of 2000, we established a joint venture, a Kunshan Rotem Ready Pharmaceutical, to manufacture and sales the product produced by the own plant. And in the year of 2010, we set up our own RO representative office in Beijing. And last year, we set up the WUFI. That's our situation in China. And back to the main topics of today. Firstly, it's about the regulatory affairs. From our point of view, recently in China, there were many changes, challenges, as well as the opportunities. Let's go over one by one. First one is about the timeline. I think the change, the CDE has come up with a defined timeline. The total terms of is the maximum terms is 18 months to get IDI approval for a formulation product in China. Actually, we have a case. It spent us almost 10 years to get approval, but nowadays that become a history. But challenge is there's no deadline extension and there's no second round definition. So after the first round deficiency, we have to respond in 4 months. And the opportunity is the Indian company, the Indian pharmaceutical company, we can evaluate the business case with defined approval timelines, and we can make our launching strategy for each product. And the second one is about the clinical studies. Nowadays, in China, we accept overseas clinical studies data, including the BE studies. But the challenge is the ethnicity differences between Chinese and Indian population. So we have to try to evaluate the BE studies. That's the opportunity. And third one, in China, the authorities towards global regulatory thinking, especially after CDE become a part of ICH, that's mentioned before. And the challenge is not completely abiding of ICH regulations, and we have to meet the innovators' quality. But the opportunity for us that we have we can leverage the product approved in US or in EU. That's an opportunity. Maybe we can get a BE waiver. And the last one is about IP management. Recently, some guidelines, some rules published in China about these terms, but most of them is in the stage of draft, and we are not sure when they become effective. But Indian companies have a strong IP team. I believe that will our advantage for the Indian pharma companies. Okay, next. The second topic is about business. First, let's make an overview of the Chinese market. This is for formula market. The data is from Minet, published in the early of this year. So in the last year, the total market size is more than 1,700 billion RMB, and in which we can find 3 kind of terminals: the hospitals, OTC, and the e-commerce platforms. And easy to see, the hospitals contribute more than 75% of the total market size. So when we talk business opportunities in China, we have to find out the solution, how our products can be listed or can be adopted by the public hospitals. In the history, the development of the drug procurement in China, it can be divided into 4 stages. And the latest one is the well-known VBP from the 4+7 to the 5th round VBP in this year. We can see in below of this presentation from the policy announced to the implementation of the VBP. Only a few months it will be done, and here we can see the rules, and also totally there are more than 200 molecules has been listed in VBP, and the winners for each molecule from the only one in the first round VBP now is increased to 10. The maximum winners is 10 players. So and we can find the price reduction. The average reduction is around 50%, and the highest reduction in each round VBP is more than 19%. And the ruler for the winner, there are 3 conditions. First one is the price is less than 1.8 times of the lowest price for each particular molecule. And the second one is the price reduction more than 50% from the ceiling price. The ceiling price is given by the authorities. And the third one is the standard unit price less than 0.1 RMB. The player who meet one of these 3 conditions can get the opportunity become the final winners. And the VBP volume is submitted by the public hospitals in its provinces. And the guarantee volume is subject to the numbers of final winners. Generally, it's around 2 years or 3 years for each molecule. And the VBP terms, as I mentioned, is around 2 years or 3 years. Okay. We can find a lot of several Indian companies participate in VBP in China in the last few years. And here we can see some winners. Dr. Reddy is the first one. We won in the 4+7 extension, and our products, olanzapine, get 8 provinces in that VBP. And next is Alabindu and Sun Pharma and Hitro in its round VBP. So we have some opportunities and the challenge for the Indian companies to participate VBP. And opportunities, it's a fast way, can make our company fast entry to get the market share as a new player. Generally, without VBP, we have to take part in the tender activities in each provinces and get the product listed in the hospitals one by one. That always take a long time, maybe 1 or 2 years to get it done. But if we win in the VBP, we can fast capture the market. And the second one, especially for India pharma companies, the cost is our advantage. So we can take that. We can get a lot of benefit from the cost. And third one, I think it's a better way for us, for the Indian companies, to make a better understanding, a better visibility for the market, and that's the opportunity. And there are still many challenges, I think. And the first one, as we know, there are more and more local companies that, such as Hengrui, Qilu, and Hausen Yangji River is improving the cost structure and the scales. We have to face into competition and find a way out to get more market share. And the second challenge is the production and the supply chain management, especially last year and half one of this year during the COVID-19 pandemic. We took a lot of effort, such as make the sales forecast and take more leading time to ensure the supply of the goods, especially for the products which won in the BVP. That's a big challenge. And third one is how can we promote the product in the non-VBP area. As we mentioned, it's a fast way for us to get the product listed in the hospital in the VBP1 provinces, but in the non-VBP provinces, it's still a challenge for us to get the product promotion. And the last one is about the local, I think it's local policies. We need to get better understanding on the pharmaceutical industry policy and knowledge of especially for the Indian pharma companies. I think that's a challenge. But anyway, we still have a lot of opportunities for Indian companies in pharmaceutical industry. Okay, that's all I'd like to share with all of you. And here you can see my email address and also the QR code for Dr. Reddy's China on WeChat public account. Thanks again for giving me this opportunity to share our view with all of us, all of you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Orlando Wang, for that presentation and on opportunities and challenges that are present in China. And it's a learning for Indian industry. I could give them information on how to. Thank you so much. With that, we have come to the end of the session. In this session, before I propose vote of thanks, I would like to inform the member companies present from China and India on the platform as well as on the WebEx to kindly join the live link, use the live link, and have the meetings using the live link on the 3D platform. I would like to thank the CCMPH Secretary of the Party Committee, Ms. Meng Tong Peng, Ms. Guo Zidon, Mr. Jamon Yan, and Mr. Orland Wang from Dr. Reddy's and Aquila. I would also thank Mr. Lekhan Takraj as well as Swastiki from the mission for their support in making this a successful program. I'd also like to thank Mr. Uday Bhaskar for his time. Thank you so much, and we look forward to working with you for future programs. Thank you so much.